Actually, ஒரு வாட்டி I think I was what 9 years old ங்க. பெட்ரூம் கூப்பிட்டாரு. டேய் வாடா இங்க. ஓகே அப்பா கூப்பிடுறாரு வந்து. சரி என்னப்பா? டேய் நீ தமிழ்னா மலையாளியாடா? Very intelligent question, Mr. Nambiyar. So let me use my Sherlock Holmes cap and say, okay, my name is M.N. Deepak Nambiyar. Nambiyar is the warrior caste in Malayali. நான் மலையாளிப்பா. மலையாளி இல்லை. நீ தமிழன். நம்ம ஊட்டினது நம்ம சோறு கொடுத்து நம்ம வளர்த்து இந்த லெவல் ஆக்க இந்த தமிழ் தாய்நாடு தான்டா. Don't ever forget that. To this day, any Malayali who comes across me will rue his decision to ever think of that I'm a Malayali, because I'm more Maratamil than anybody I know. From that moment onwards, it resonated so much with me. Your mother is the one who raised you, not the one who gave birth to you. So, from that moment onwards, I tell people I'm Maratamil. நிறைய பேர் கேட்டது இந்த மாதிரி why you calling yourself Nambiyar? உங்களுக்கு அந்த ஜாதி இதெல்லாம் அவ்வளோ இது இல்லையே, why do you call yourself Nambiyar? சார் நான் ட்ராமா ட்ரூப் சேரும்போது there was already one guy called Narayanan. என் பேர் நாராயணன். There was a Narayanan over there, and every time the Nawab Rajamanikam will say Narayana, both of us would come running. He said, "Pare, இதெல்லாம் சரிப்பட்டு வராது. The cook's name is Narayanan. And you're what? Narayan Nambiyar தானே. I'm going to call you Nambiyar. அதுல ஒட்டுன பேர் தான் Nambiyar. அதுக்கப்புறம் என்ன ஷூட்டிங்ல கொண்டு போக மாட்டாரு. ஒரு வாட்டி என்ன ஷூட்டிங் கொண்டு போகும்போது அந்த மேக்கப் டோர் ஓபன் பண்ணும்போது எம்ஜிஆர் மேக்கப் போட்டுருந்தாங்க. ஸோ அவர் பார்த்து நான் சொன்னேன், ஹை சிவாஜின்னு. அப்படி எம்ஜிஆர் பார்த்தாரு, என்ன சிவாஜி ஓவரா ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஷிப்பா. அதுக்கப்புறம் நான் ஷூட்டிங்கே கொண்டு போல. அதுக்கப்புறம் டேய் வரவாக்குறேன் போய் எம்ஜிஆர் பார்த்து சிவாஜின்னு சொல்றீங்க. That is very funny. At the time, actually, my mother, who grew up in the school and college days when Appa was on top, she was treated very badly in school. In அந்த காலகட்டத்தில் 1970s, the teachers thought that if you are Nambiyar's daughter, you must be a terrible person because your father is a murderer and this and that. Amma had a very hard time in a school called Church Park. I don't know how many of you are from Madras or heard. At the time, ஒரு top இது. அங்க the sister superiors were pretty inferior in their intellect to think that Nambiyar was a bad person in real life also. 1982 அப்புறம் இந்த சோஷியல் மீடியா வந்த காலகட்டத்தில் people started realizing, oh my god, this man is an Ayyappa Bhaktar, he's a very devoted person, and the people's opinions started changing. But even I, to a certain extent, had a difficult time growing up. And அப்புறம் ரொம்ப கேவலமா நினைச்சுப்பாங்க, நம்பியாரோட பேர்னா சரி நீ தாத்தா மாட்டா போற, ஐயோ என்னையா பேசுறீங்க. That was the problem with him doing such a good job as a villain, I guess. சைதாப்பேட்ல ட்ரெயின் கிராசிங்ல நிக்கிறாரு தியேட்டர்ல வெயிட்டிங் ஃபார் திங் டு ஓபன் ஃபார் ஹிம் டு கோ ஃபார் ஷூட்டிங். And then 10 people come stand around the car. கார் விட்டு இறங்கு. கார் விட்டு இறங்க, இது என்னமோ it is not going the right way. இறங்க, என்னப்பா வேணும் உங்களுக்கு? அண்ணனை எப்படி அடிப்பேன் நீங்க? ஐயோ நீயே எனக்கு யாருன்னு தெரியாது, அப்புறம் நானே அண்ணன் அடிப்பேன். இல்லை எம்ஜிஆர் அண்ணன் எப்படி அடிப்பேன்? ஐயோ இவங்க ஐன்ஸ்டைன் லெவல் ஜீனியஸா இருக்காங்க. சரிப்பா இனிமே அண்ணன் அடிக்கல can I go? நான் சரி அப்போ நம்பியார் வாழ்க அவ்வளோ கன்வின்சிங்கா பண்ணனால they thought and this is a story that MJR actually told Appa when he was standing for election, I think in 82 or something. சிவா நிக்கும்போது மதுரையில் he was the people's person. MJR அடிச்சுக்க யாருமே இல்லை. One old lady slowly coming up to the stage, and MJR likes the visual, so he told everybody, all of you move, let the old lady come. The old lady comes up, mala vitu, she's probably going to fall and pull it on herself and die. So she puts the mala on MJR and says, can I say something to him? Just says, yeah, come tell me. Thambi, நீ யாரை வேணாலும் ஊர்ல நம்பு, ஆனா அந்த பாவி நம்பியார MJR விழுந்து என்ன what kind of impression have you created? But I want to laugh. I said, சரி தாயே நான் நம்பியார மட்டும் நம்பல. That's a kind of impact that they had a beautiful relationship also. And யோயோன்னா கூப்பிடுவாங்க, and many times they would not talk to you. And உலகம் சுற்றும் வாலிபனுக்கு அந்த படத்துக்கு அந்த ரிலீஸ் ஆகும்போது again MJR stop talking to அப்பா, and அதுக்கு கேஷும் கொடுக்கல. ஸோ அம்மா கேட்டாங்க, என்னங்க சாலரி கொடுக்கலையா? அவன் கடற்கான MJR வேண்டாம், I don't want that money. But after a few years, MJR took whatever was due, added little more, and gave it to his first son Sukumar, who was studying in America at that time. And said, இது பாரு நம்பர் இப்போ கொடுத்தா வாங்கி மாட்டான் ரோஷக்கான, நீ வச்சுக்கோ, உன் ஸ்டடீஸ்க்கு யூஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும். At the end of the day, no matter what the fights that they had, MGR would always come out on top because of the love they had and because one was the elder brother, I guess.
அவர் ப்ரொஃபஷனல் ரீதியாக இருக்கும்போது அவர் ரொம்ப ரெஸ்பெக்ட்ஃபுல்லாக இருந்திருக்காரு, அதாவது நல்லா ஒர்ஷிப்பாக இருந்திருக்காரு, அவருடைய கடமையை கரெக்டாக பண்ணியிருக்காரு, அதாவது அவர் ப்ரொஃபஷனல் ரீதியாக ஆக்டிங்கில். அதை தவிர்த்து ஃபேமிலி லைஃப்பில் அதாவது ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் அவருடைய கசினாக இருக்கட்டும் இல்லைன்னா நெப்பியாக இருக்கட்டும், இந்த மாதிரி அவங்க கூட பிறந்தவங்க இவங்க கூட அவருடைய ரிலேஷன்ஷிப் எந்த மாதிரி இருந்துச்சு. செகண்ட் கேள்வி என்னென்னா, அவர் அந்த ஆக்டிங் தவிர்த்து எக்ஸ்ட்ரா கரிக்குலர், அதாவது ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் இப்போ அதர் பிஸ்னஸில் ஏதாவது செலவு இப்போ பார்ட்டிசிபேட் பண்ணியிருப்பாரு, பிஸ்னஸில் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் பண்ணியிருப்பாரு. அவருக்கு பல ஊரில் இருந்தது.
அவங்க ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கல்யாணம் பண்ணும்போது அவங்களோட அக்கா நம்பியார் சாமியோட அக்கா பெரிய அக்கா, she had an elder sister. அந்த பெரிய அக்கா used to treat நம்பியார் அம்மா very badly. மேபி அந்த நான் தான் பெரியவங்க அந்த இதில் அந்த எப்போ பார்த்தாலும் மேக்கிங் நம்பியார் அம்மா ஒர்க் எக்ஸ்ட்ரா வாட் எவர். பட் throughout his life அவங்க அண்ணனுக்கும் 2 அக்காங்களுக்கும் he has done enough and more. monthly நம்பியார் அம்மாவே she'll send money to them and say like இந்த மாச செலவு வச்சுக்கோங்க, you can invest some this thing. Nobody will do that much. அவங்க இறந்து போற முன்னாடி the பெரிய அக்கா told நம்பியார் அம்மா, Rukmini, I tortured you a lot, but throughout the years இப்போ நம்ம we are standing so independent only because of the money that you sent and because of what Narayan has done for us so far. So family na he would like a kuberan madri, he used to do so much and like ellarum nalla irunga, like I'm doing well only for you, so that is my punyam to do something for you. Second part of the either is like as far as business goes, I think around 1955 la or like a plumber vechkonga, he came and said like listen, I'd like to start a business, why don't you invest some money with me and we can do it together. So Nambiyar Sami said like, look, I've seen you a few times in Coimbatore, I know you're a capable guy, but you know what, I'll back you, so how do you want to do it? He said start பண்றதுக்கு ஒரு 100 ரூபாய் ஆகும், I'll put 60 rupees of my own money, ஒரு 40 ரூபாய் இருந்தா கொடுங்க, you be the minority partner. Long story short, that company founded by that man and Nambiyar turned out to be a company called Suguna Motors and Pumps. I don't know if you've heard of Suguna Motors and Pumps.
Yeah, we know.
They are like the Muhammad Ali of Coimbatore and Motors and they're everywhere, they're number one in everything. So that was his idea, his seed money that they started off that business with. And Adpoga, then he also started a boating company with somebody else who said like, Paranga, I'll be the brains, I'm going to get 2 boats, you invest in me and I'll do that business didn't go well. And after that Appa learned something, like he said, look, unless I'm going to be hands-on in something, I'm not going to take a chance. So invest panni success ஆன story Suguna Motors சொல்லலாம். Failure ஆனது இந்த fishing இதுல it didn't really work out because you're going to just throw money and say like here's my investment and you don't know what's happening, you're going to become very wise. சரியா முடியல. So break up ஆயிடக்கூடாது. And அப்பா இறந்த அந்த டைம்ல அவங்க அவர் பேர் கண்ணே வந்தாங்க. His entire family came home to see Appa's body and they spoke to Amma and said like, I wish so many things had not happened, but we have so much of respect for him, we have so much of respect for you, please be in touch always. So that was one sad story, but at the same time a success story that Appa contributed to. The third part of your question is at the shooting time la அப்பாக்கும் வீரப்பன் பெரியப்பாக்கும் செம தாகம். இட்ஸ் நாட் லைக் சரி ரொம்ப தாகமா இருக்கு, லைக் அதுவும் கோபி செட்டி பாலத்துல there's no hotel close by, அங்க என்ன கிணறு தெரியுது, let's go ask those ladies for some water. அங்க போயிருக்காங்க. இங்க 2 பேர் நடந்து போகும்போது ladies let the rope go and they ran away. One old lady couldn't run fast enough and she looked at both and said, like, பாய் மனுஷனுங்களா, எல்லா பொம்பளைங்களும் கெடுத்துட்டு இங்கேயும் வந்துட்டீங்களா? both of them வீரப்பன் பெரியப்பா நம்ம அப்பா looking at each other, நமக்கு இது தேவையா, இங்க வந்து திட்ட வாங்குறது தண்ணி கொடுக்க மாட்டேன்னு இப்படி திட்டுறாங்களேன்னு. That was an amazing story. பாதி இது வாங்கி ஒரு பொண்ணு பேர்ல இது இன்னொரு பொண்ணு பேர்ல இது வெரி வெரி அந்த திரையுலகத்திலே educated person with a degree was Gemini Mama. He was a DSc or something. Everybody else, MGR, Shivaji, all of them were not educated, including Nambiyar. But Gemini Mama was educated and over buddhinu solla. You see, over time Jayalalitha auntie had a unavardham. She was not Kaveri idanaala, she was not eating, drinking, and almost after 1 week the central government said like, look madam, we give you what you want, just stop with this bullshit. So other Jayalalitha auntie paaka CM paaka appa said like, I'm going to Police Garden to see the CM, why don't you come with me? I said okay, I'll come with you. Appa poi meeting Jayalalitha for the first time. What the 2 things that's completely thunderstruck me was, one was her complexion. Satyava and the Kashmir apple போட்ட மாதிரி இருந்தது. So fair and radiant. And the second thing was her English. She was talking like Shakespeare. In Pathana Ketanga, how you son, what are you up to? I was like, appa. I thought I'd have to learn Sanskrit and come with it. So my regret is this. And she was very, very fond of Nambiyar Amma and Nambiyar Swami. And she asked Nambiyar Swami before we left, he said, Anna, neenga pora munadi ungalukkaga na edavadhu pannalama, anything small that I can do for you. Appa சொன்னேன், எனக்காக ஒன்றும் பண்ண தெரியல, நீ உடம்ப பார்த்துக்கோ, அது போதும். அப்போ நான் யோசிச்சேன், மைண்ட் வாய்ஸ் யோசிச்சது, அப்பா நீங்கள் சொல்லியிருக்கலாமே எனக்கு ஒரு உதவாக்கிற பேரா இருக்கா அப்படின்னு, நீங்கள் ஏதாவது பிஸ்னஸ் சின்னதாக 100 கோடிக்கு பண்ணீங்களா, அதை விட்டுறீங்களப்பா அந்த சான்ஸை. தட் இஸ் a very big regret in my life. But in Nambiyar Swami's life, there was no regret because by 1952, he had done a Hollywood movie called The Jungle. He acted as a Rajkumar. The movie did very well. Not many people know that he's acted in a Hollywood film. He's acted in a straight Hindi film. When he's acted in Tamil, Kannada, ellame whatever life, except for one interview where he said that he wants to go over the Alps and go down to the Pacific Ocean, Mariana Trench. Like, you know, our karpula vanda idunala. I don't think he had any regrets in his life. In fact, even before he passed, 10 years before he passed, I used to go to places like in San Francisco and say like, Appa, na Pacific Ocean paakren, unga kannalula na paakren. I'm seeing it with your eyes. Just be very happy about that. But as far as regrets go, he was, if he had any regrets, he would just smile and be like, you know what, God has given me so much, I'm happy with whatever. 42, like 1942, Nawab Rajamanikam Pillai avargal, and the Bhakta Ramdasla vandu, then because of the failure of the second movie, the Erinjanala, he got back to drama. So, but Nawab Rajamanikam Pillai avargal sonnaru, indha mari na or koilukku poren, if you want, you can come with me. Enna koil, naan enna koi edukku solla matten, nee vaa en koil. So on the time, you can't even imagine how Sabrimala used to be. It was complete forest, puli, ellame, all those things used to be there. Anga Pombodu, it was almost like he found his calling, and he went to the temple and he got into a trance. And angiye over 2-3 days in there, the fourth day, Nawab Rajamanikam Pillai asked, like, you know, Narayana, it's 4 days you've been over here. We have to get back to the drama troupe. What is it about this temple that you don't want to leave this place? He said, no, I feel some kind of a connection over here. Maybe it's the nature, maybe it's the thing that Ayyappa is a warrior priest or whatever. I just feel that connection. So 1942 start panni 2003 varakum அவர் போனாரு. So that's almost 61 years. இந்த 61 வருஷத்துல அவர் 5 வாட்டியாவது வருஷத்துக்கு போவாரு. So almost 305 times he's gone to Sabrimala. But at the same time, he was not one of those people like எப்ப பார்த்தாலும் கோயிலுக்கு போய் உட்கார்ந்து அந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் இல்ல. In fact, நம்ம groupல I told you about the person who introduced Rajinikanth to our group, Shivaram Swami. Shivaram Swami ஒரு வாட்டி, I think maybe 1998, every month he had this thing, decided that he'll go to Sabrimala. Every month he'll go to Sabrimala and come back. So இது பண்ணார், ஒரு 10 மாசம் பண்ணிட்டு நவம்பர்ல he again called up Nambiyar Swami and said, Nambiyar Swami, நான் எங்க இருக்கேன்னு தெரியுமா? நான் சபரிமலை இருக்கேன், நீ அங்கேயே இருந்து தொலைக்கிறதானே, why you coming back, why do you want a family over here, just pray to God and stay over there. That's when I realized, like, that's being practical. I mean, there's a limit to devotion also. You don't go, God didn't ask you to come there every month, started the whole this thing. And 2003, like, when his health was really, really failing, and the Malay Kalti, he gave it to my uncle, my Periya Mama Sukumar Kalti Soditu. Then after that he stopped going, and a couple of years later he went. The time that he died was Kartika Masam. Ella Swamilu Mala Potundar, including Sundar Swami. And his desire, and Adikadi Solvaru, before I die, I want to see Amma one last time and die. Amma, be like, stop talking like this, you're depressing me, you're depressing everybody in the house. And around 10 a.m. on November 19th of 2008, the day, I can never forget that day because it's the saddest day of my life. Amma Kuptanga. And a very funny thing, I'm not very religious. I'm not religious, though I've been to Sabrimala 48 times. I believe in God. I'm not a loony religious person. I was in the US at that time. My daughter was 1 week from being born. I'm driving my car, Amma's with me, she's come for the prasavam. And the Ganesha that I have in my Audi, this parked at traffic light, it just falls out and breaks. I was like, man, why did that happen? Amma's like, hey, that night, a few hours later, I get a call. Anytime you get a call from India in the middle of the night, it's never for a good thing. And my second uncle says like, Appas, no. My first reaction was, no, that can't be true. So Ganesha falling down and breaking, and this was, even now, that kind of like, there is a sign for me to say like, you know, your God is anyway, you do this and all. And even if he had, I mean, he was very close to my mother. My mother went through some personal trials and tribulations in Dalu, like, you know, it's like, it's all going to come out okay on the other side. He was he lived a very simple life. Only complicated problems, and he was very near. So I don't think he had any regrets.
Cremation நீங்க travel பண்றீங்களா?
Sorry, I'm very sorry. I was talking about the time that he passed away. So Kartika Masathula, he asked Amma at 10 o'clock in the morning for a glass of tea. So Amma, Goswami Amma gives the glass of tea for him. I'm not exaggerating. He takes a sip, he puts it down, he looks at her, and he closes his teeth. He died on the spot. He died.
Oh.
So he actually said that I want to look at you and die. So and on the time Sundar Swami, all of them included, they came home, took the mala, left it over there, took his body and went. And from home to the crematorium was about 6 kilometers, all the way Sarnapadi to Ponanga. And on the time almost 1,000 transvestites came home, and they were wailing and screaming. And my mother asked later, like, I'm touched that all of you are here, but I didn't know that the trans community had so much in common with Israel. I'll tell you how it started. One day you were walking with your father in the morning at 4:30, and he used to jog ahead of you. You were behind, and we saw that. We had just finished a ceremony on the beach at 4:30 a.m. and we were coming back. By ceremony, you can imagine what they would do. So came back, and they looked at Nambiyar Swami and said, "Ayya, Swami, vanakkam." Swami looked at us and he said, "Vanakkam. Swami, we've just finished the ceremony, so normally, like, if you people have some dakshina to give, we accept, anjo pattu irundha kodunga." Nambiyar Swami put his hand in his pocket, and in 1990s, I think maybe 2,000 rupees, a lot of money. Whatever he had, he just gave it to them. So the trans community said we never forgot their gesture. That's why all of us, 1,000 people from all over Madras are over here, and they all sat in absolute silence around the house. Normally, the trans community is known for creating a bit of a ruckus now and then, but they were very respectful. They went with the body and came back with all the Swamis, including Sundar Swami, calling Saranam and coming. Goswami Amma would later say, like, I don't think he could have asked for a better send-off. Ayyappa's son going to Ayyappa with this group saying Swami Saranam Ayyappa and going. My daughter was due 1 week, in 1 week's time. So I told my mother, just take the next flight and go back to Madras. I can't come because my daughter's due 1 week's time. She can't fly. My wife can't fly. Go there and take care of Nambiyar Amma because she won't be able to manage without you. So she flew back, and life changes. That's a thing, because when the head of the family is no longer there, a lot of tales will develop.
Definitely, yeah.
And, you really learn a lot about life.
The missing and the pain உங்களுக்கு இருந்தோ இருக்குல லாஸ்ட்
But even now, like recent that I'm talking to you, and I spoke to Tariga sir a week ago. Yes, how many people you expect? I don't care. I love talking about Appa. Adu na senja punyam. So even now when I talk about him, I still feel that in spirit he's still with me, and that makes me happy. A person from Kerala came and said, like, look, I really like your book. I want to take it as a book. I said, fine. Unga rights kodupingla? I said, na kodupen, but enakku enna ore iduna, there has to be some kind of drama, like maybe like in Gemini Mama's life, or in MGR's life, or Nadiga Tilakam's life, or something. This man lived close to a pure life. Anala ups and downs nu pathina, avlu ohon solradhukku onnu illa. Adha neenga box office the value paathukonga. So adukapra he thought about and said, like, yeah, there has to be something, and I couldn't find any this thing. So by all means let them take it. It's first and foremost is the devotion to the family, because Appa's entire life, he kept on doing for his family. It's like, my brother, my elder sister, I have 2 elder sisters, I have an elder brother. Normally the youngest one is the one that you have to look after, but he was looking after them, did so much for them. His wife was first and foremost over everybody else, and like my education, US Pambodu, whatever. I mean, for him, family was providing for family was everything. And the value system, if you have in you, not forgetting where you came from, if you have that respect for your parents and know that it's because of you that I've been given this opportunity, I'm going to do so much for you. That book, I think, that's the biggest lesson that one can take away.
So, from a spiritual point of view, it's the family first, and
that's what I've learned from that. And this is not, I'll sort of easy, but not many people are there. Yeah, family and Appa, when they don't have that level of respect for Appa, I'm like, dude, the only reason you're here is because of other thing, like, just because of you idiots are following whatever you're doing. You don't ever forget where you came from. And the nandri karan ungalku illana neenga endha idhilum munera mudiyadhu. You need that loyalty, that fierce loyalty. Adikadi newspaper padikkum na adha ketta paper vechen eppadi paapparu. ஒன்னும் கேட்க வரல, நீங்க சாப்பிட்டீங்களான்னு கேட்க வந்தேன். ஆனா ரொம்ப பிரியமா இருப்பாரு. ரொம்ப ஒரு விதத்துல the fact that I lost my leg only after Appa and Amma left this world is happy. ஏன்னா அங்க இருந்தா அங்க ரத்த கண்ணீர் வச்சிருப்பாங்க to see my physical state like that. And the second slide that I didn't show was only about my achievements in sports, and there's no reason for me to. Last year I got a silver medal in rowing in India Nationals. Ennala sadhikrano Ironman I came 9th in India. I tell myself, you're doing it for Nambiyar Swami. You're keeping his flag flying. You're not doing it for your own personal glory. So andadhula like I've dedicated my life to sport now. 55 வயசு ஆகுது, I still try and do whatever I can. So to keep Nambiyar Swami's name, பார்த்தா சொல்ல அந்த மாதிரி சரி பொருத்தமான வாரிசு. He's doing whatever he can because Nambiyar Swami was into fitness. And one small story about fitness before I take any more of your time. ஒரு வாட்டி I was 25 years old and I just started working in Coimbatore, and he was 75. அவர் போர்ட்ஸ் இந்த ஷூட்டிங்லாம் நினைக்கிறேன். he said, டேய் தீபக் வா சொல்ல ரூம்ல இருந்து. நான் வந்தேன், என்னப்பா இல்லை எனக்கு எக்ஸசைஸ் பண்ணுறது பத்தல, கொஞ்சம் குஸ்தி போடுவோமா போடுவோம். அந்த டைமில் குஸ்ஸாமி அம்மா combing her hair. She's combing her looking at the mirror. So I said, அப்பா எனக்கு குஸ்தி தெரியாது, I know karate, I'm a brown belt, 4th dan. So how exactly do you want to do? So okay, look, I'm going to lie down like this on my force like a frog. You have to put your hands under my shoulders and then flip me and make my shoulder touch the ground. If my shoulder touches the ground, நீ ஜெயிச்சிட்ட. சரி அவ்வளோதான். ஸோ ஓகே நான் ஜிம் போய் ஜிம் ஸ்டட்டு மாதிரி இருக்கேன், 75 வயசு ஆகுது, நீங்கள் என்ன சொல்கிறீங்க? ஓகே ரெடின்னு சொல்லுங்க இருப்பாங்க. I'm ready, you start. பீமா அனுமான் வாழை தூக்குற மாதிரி வரவே மாட்டேங்குது. என்னடா இது ஃபெவிகால் போட்டு ஓட்டியிருக்காரா, தூக்குறாங்க வர மாட்டேங்கிறாரு. 50 ஆயிட்டுன்னு அப்போ அம்மா looked at me. I was like, what the hell is happening? முடியல ஒன்னால இல்லை முடியல. சரி இப்போ நீ அதை take the same position, I'll do that now. So I took the position. அப்போ தெரியும் like, oh the old man wants to show me. I'll show you nice. சத்தியமாக சொல்கிறாங்க, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இங்கே கழுத்தில் ஒரு எலியை பிடிக்கிற மாதிரி என் கழுத்தை பிடிச்சாரு. ரெண்டாவது என்னோட அண்டவரை பிடிச்சி he took me up like this, showed me the fan and then hit me on the ground. சத்தியமா I thought it was my birthday. எனக்கு ஃபுல்லாக ஸ்டார்ஸ் தான் தெரியுது. எனக்கு 25 வயசு. குருசாமியம்மா got up and said, என் பையன் மேலே இன்னும் ஒரு கையை வச்சிங்க, நான் ஆளே மாறிட்டேன். மாட்டே டீப்பை ஓடுறான், ரூமுக்கு ஓடுறான். ஆனம் போச்சு எனக்கு. நான் பாட்டுக்கு ஐயோ இந்த ஆள்கிட்ட போய் இந்த மாதிரி உதவ வாங்கணுமா இந்த டைம்ல. That shows his level of physical fitness. நின்னத்துல சம்டைம்ஸ் இப்படின்னு வாரு. நான் தான் என்னவா வெயிட் இல்லை பை திஸ் கால் ஐசோமெட்ரிக் எக்ஸசைஸ். நீ 1 hour எக்ஸசைஸ் பண்ணி பிரயோஜனம் இல்லை. யுவர் பாடி ஹேஸ் டு பி டாட் ஃபார் தி என்டையர் டே. ஸோ கீப் ஆன் டூயிங் இட். சர்வத்துக்கு மேலே போகும்போது he'll be doing push-ups over there. So throughout his body was a finely tuned machine for the rest of all his life. Very fitness conscious. And அந்த காலகட்டத்தில் ஜிம் எல்லாம் யாரும் nobody knows that 1950 he had a home gym. அந்த டைம்ல தான் ஜோ வீடர், the father of bodybuilding, வந்தது. So அவரு and then calorie diet எல்லாம் he used to practice the MGR call MGR home and say like, okay, let's fight calorie, let's do sword fighting. MGR was also very into it. அடிக்கடி சொல்றாரு, அப்பா இந்த டேய் உடம்புல ஒரு திமிரு இருக்கணும்டா, வயசானாலும் அந்த திமிரு நிமிர்ந்து நில்டா, இந்த மாதிரி வயசானாலும் ஏன் நிற்கிறேன். So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.